Hi there. So in this video I want to show you how to add a button to the XML file, the layout XML file, and then on click of that button we want to display a message to the user like the button has been clicked or something like that. So first thing is like how to add a button to the XML file. So you have already seen this file, the activity main XML, which is our layout file. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I want to get rid of some code which I think is not required as such. Okay, so we are getting rid of these things. I want to keep it simple, and also this text view, don't need it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a button, and adding a button is pretty simple. Like, button is also a UI component, and as you can see, when you start typing the name, say BUT, then Android Studio, which we are using, which is based on IntelliJ platform, that is pretty intelligent, and it starts auto suggesting you the name of the component you want to add. So I type button, press enter, and then I see, it asks for layout, width, and height. So the width I'll use match parent, and height is wrap content. Just a quick note on this. So width comes in two flavor, wrap content or match parent. Now wrap means it'll occupy the amount of space that the text takes or the button takes. Whereas if you give like match parent, then it'll try to occupy the whole width of the app screen. Okay, and similarly height, if you give like match parent, then it'll try to occupy the whole of the screen, which we don't want. Of course, I'm going to add an ID attribute, because that's how we'll figure out this button. um, what this button should be called can be specified using the text attribute. I'll call this click me. Okay, and the concept that on click of button what should happen. So I want to call a method. You might be familiar with methods in Java. So which method should be called when someone clicks on this, that can be specified. Okay, now how can you specify that? There is an on click attribute, and let's say I'll call the method name as click me. Okay, and I'll add a little bit of margin to this, so that it you know looks a little better. Let's see if we can pull this up in the design. So okay, that's fine. It's showing some rendering problem, but this is how it should look when I run the app. This is how it should appear, the click me button. Okay, so good so far. So I've added a method name. Now what should I do? I should go to the activity, and I'll add that method public void click me. Okay, and here you pass a parameter view. Okay, so you might be wondering why, how do I know what method signature I need to use and stuff, but this is pretty standard. So whenever you want to call a method which has been mentioned here, like specified here using the onClick attribute. So this method signature should have public, should have void, and should have a parameter view. Now view is a class in Android, as you might have understood, and it's the base class. And lot of all the UI components, or at least most of them, directly extend from this view class. And using this view, we can pull out any element which is there in the layout file. So we'll just do some basic thing, and we won't do much. So what I'm going to do is to display a message. There is a concept toast. Okay, toast is used to display any text, or as like better like an alert. If you are familiar with JavaScript, then you normally show an alert message on the screen or a pop-up message. This isn't a pop-up basically, but it'll display a message. So whatever message we want to show, like button clicked, okay, I can specify here. Don't worry if you're not getting. This is just to give you an idea. We'll cover this in more depth basically as we proceed through our tutorials. But this is the basic syntax, and Android Studio will it'll automatically write the whole code for you once you do the toast and click on enter. So it'll automatically enter this whole thing, and the only thing you need to figure out is the message which you want to display. So far so good. So let's try to run this app and see what happens. So I have the Nexus 6 emulator. Okay, so it will start the emulator, and while that happens, I'll talk to you a little more about this thing. So while it is starting up, it takes a minute or two. So while this is starting up, let's push this code to GitHub, because so far you might have not seen me push my code or changes. So I'll enter a comment like added a method on button click, or rather added a button and a method on button click, and I'll say commit and push. Cool, na? So this will directly push the files to GitHub, and you can view your changes. I hope you are using GitHub. If not, then don't worry, you can use it later on. But it's a good thing to have um, as a developer, as a programmer. Using GitHub allows you to showcase your project, your stuff, as well as maintain your code so that you don't lose it. You have the versions and everything. So as you can see, the Nexus device has loaded, the emulator has loaded, but now the app is running, and as you can see, it shows the button which we added. The look and feel is not good, but don't worry about it. We'll work on that. Now if I do a click me, oh cool, so it says button clicked, which is cool, right? So the toast works, and as you can see, the method that we specified in our XML, that calls the activity from where the layout was called, and it calls this method and it displays the toast. Cool so far. I hope you're following me. Just practice it out. You can visit my GitHub page. I'll mention that in the YouTube link. So just try to do this on your own, and see you next time. Bye.